David Charbonnet is a former Navy SEAL. Right before his first deployment, his canopy stalled and David plunged 80 feet to the ground. He'll never be a Navy SEAL, he'll forever be a Navy SEAL, but now with the help from the Challenge Athletes Foundation Operation Rebound program, he's actually hoping to qualify for the 2028 Paralympic Games in kayaking. And he is joining us this morning with our good friend, CAF co-founder, Bob Babbitt. Good morning, guys.
How you doing, Lauren?
I'm great. It is Friday, and we're always inspired when you come and you bring your friends with us, Bob.
Yeah, well, David's pretty special, and what's fascinating is David was a Navy SEAL. His dad was a Navy SEAL, and we sort of traveled in the same circles because his dad was also a triathlete and an Ironman guy back in the early 80s. So a lot of our early triathletes were Navy SEAls, and his dad was one of those guys.
It was meant to be, this relationship here. David, can you share a little bit about your journey and really what inspired you to first become a Navy SEAL?
I mean, since I was about 5 years old, I was basically born and bred to hunt and kill people for the government, you know. So that was the plan, and it seemed like it was going well, and that was my plan of who I wanted to be. And it was at a time where the country needed warriors, and so I thought that was kind of the destiny. And God changed that plan, and it took some time to come to terms with that, but it's taken me places that I never thought or expected, and been able to be used and to help other people and serve in ways that I never realized I could be. Right. And one of the big ones that I really just didn't see coming was how much kayaking was going to be a part of my life, and it's taken me all over the world, and it's introduced me to great friends. It's truly special people like Bob, like my coach Chris, like Rudy, another para-athlete, and Emily, who've been kayaking with me as well. And it's just been an amazing journey.
And now perhaps the Paralympics. So
that's certainly one of the goals for sure. That would be great to do. And that's the cool thing about kayaking. You can do all sorts of things. The Paralympic event is 200 meters, and I attempted a race that was 1,000 miles last year. So, there's all sorts of things that I want to do.
Well, you'll be able to do that in a breeze then, right? No problem.
Yeah, you just got to do it fast is the problem.
You just got to do it fast. Yeah. I always find it so inspirational when, as you say, God handed you a different plan that you weren't prepared for, and that sometimes happens, but what a beautiful lesson for your children to, kind of take that and live it to as big and beautiful as you possibly can. You have 3 children. What do they think of your kayaking and your quest now?
I mean, they think it's cool. My daughter is my oldest, and she's already gotten into kayaking, and she's doing it for her sport, and she really loves it. And that you're 100% right. That is always on the forefront of my mind of how do I handle challenges and adversity and be an example for them, because we're all going to face adversity. Everybody does, in some way or form. And being able to handle that, I feel like, is something that has become a real lost art. And I want my sons to watch me and know how to be a man, a real man of God, and my daughter to know what a man looks like, and how he should act and treat her, and how I treat my wife, and so being that example is definitely my priority in the husband I am and the father I am.
Do you feel as though the training and the difficulty that you go through to become a Navy SEAL prepared you for being paralyzed from the waist down? I mean, how hard was that shift for you? Because it's always interesting to hear the different roads to it. Some it's a very quick one, like, okay, this is my new mission, and for others it's a bit of a journey.
Yeah, I would say for me it was a bit of a journey. I'm always really impressed when I meet other para-athletes or other people with disabilities that get back on the horse of life really quickly, because it took me a year or two. Yeah. I was such an active and physical person, being a SEAL, and before that, like a high school athlete, that it was hard for me to accept, being stationary in a lot of ways. And and you know, I had to realize, like, I'm not in control, and you know, God's plan is what's going to happen, and I need to accept that reality and not dwell on what's not going to happen or what's not going to be the reality anymore. And you know, I think I had those lessons as a SEAL of how to deal with adversity, but I was just being stubborn, and so you know, it took me a while, but I feel like the man that I am now, I am much more ready to face adversity and challenges as they come because of being in a wheelchair, and it's made me a better man, a better husband, a better father.
Well, it's a beautiful story to share, and thank you for sharing it with us. And Bob, I know this is part of Operation Rebound, so tell us a little bit about that program before we go.
Yeah, Operation Rebound, part of Challenge Athletes Foundation, and really when the war in Iraq and Afghanistan got going, we had a lot of folks coming back who were needing help, and with the military, they might provide the equipment, but what they didn't provide for 21, 22, 23-year-old men and women was, what do I do next? What's my sport? And how can you help train me to get to that next sport? And this young man hopefully goes to the Paralympics, and we're talking about the Invictus Games potentially coming here in 2029, which is a military event. And there's just so many opportunities that have come around, and for our warriors who've been injured, sport makes people whole. Sport changes people's lives for the better.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. That physical activity it helps with the brain more than we give it credit for.
Absolutely.
So, thank you guys both for being here. Thank you for sharing your story, David. And we're going to be watching you, I have no doubt, in the 2028 Paralympics. All right?
Appreciate it.
We got it.
Thank you.
I trust you to get us across the finish line faster than I ever could. I wouldn't be able to give up.